Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. The latest Alpha 4.3.2 PTU patch looks very close to being released alive, or being a release candidate, at least in my opinion. We've got some sneaky updates to the Reclaimer in that latest patch that might herald a much better experience for that ship, and I want to talk about some of my major issues with Salvage in 4.3.2 and the sort of updates they've made to it and how they could make it much better in my opinion. I also want to mention a dev response about PvP and its quality of life update, separating it in the contracts. Also, we've got a dev response about the Yormandi. It's just a Valakkar reskinned, right? Wrong. The latest 4.3.2 PTU patch for Star Citizen, it's just a little patch. It had some Yormandi polish, further polish for the arena area and Yormandi animations, attack, audio and gameplay, increasing health, adjusting ranges and in-combat areas for the fight, cooldowns, added hazards to the arena flow and cover adjustments. Also a load of bug fixes in that patch for MFDs, NPCs spawning. There was some weird bugs with the Crossroads of Crime map and Arena Commander. The ATSCAV not dealing full damage as well, so people were like, oh, it's had a damage buff, but it seems to be pretty poor as a weapon. It's a lot better apparently now. There's also some crash fixes, some fixes of the Yormandi, some location fixes. So yeah, this looks very close to a release candidate to me, especially if you think CIG want to release this for CitizenCon Direct. We don't know for sure. This could come next week quite easily as well. I'm interested to know what you think in the comments below, but I would not be surprised for them to potentially run a release candidate later today and then release it tomorrow, it being the live build of 4.3.2 during CitizenCon Direct. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I was making a video on some big problems with Salvage, but one of the major ones looks like it's getting addressed and was addressed in that patch, and the video was going to be called "The Reclaimer Needs Some Work," something like that. So Alpha 4.3.2 introduced a big Salvage update. That was in the Valakkar initial build, and even some updates to the Reclaimer now, making its lifts a bit better, giving it a cargo grid, stuff like that. The ship is supposed to be a top tier salvage platform, but you can't really use it properly. Getting the salvage off ship is difficult, and with refining added, you can't land or dock at many stations, at least in Stanton, with the Reclaimer, making it really fiddly to use, unnecessarily fiddly, right? In the latest 4.3.2 build, it also appears that you can dock the Reclaimer with some more landing zones using docking collars. It's buggy and inconsistent, actually giving you somewhere to dock using the collar, but when this is stable, it could potentially allow for significantly better function of the Reclaimer as a salvage ship. Well, you might say, well, this doesn't help. You can't move the salvage around or get it to a freight elevator, but hopefully docking with a station with a docking collar, one with a refinery deck, will let you sell materials, sell that salvage straight from your ship, allow you to refine straight from your ship. So that's a moderate amount of hopium from me, but that's almost certainly where it's going. At least that's what I think. The Reclaimer needs more work beyond that though. It's sort of like a legacy ship that needs a light rework at the very least, and a gold standard pass. It's in Squadron 42. We've seen it, we know it's in the coil. Maybe it's getting one, maybe it's already had one and they just haven't put it in the persistent universe yet. If you are a Reclaimer owner, please tell me what you think in the comments below on that so far. Anyway, more than the Reclaimer though, the salvage economy needs some work. CIG did say they're getting ready for crafting, and there might be reasons that they've made some of the changes they have to the salvage economy, but from what I can see, CIG have basically just heavily nerfed RMC, the hull stripping money that you make, and even structural salvage doesn't really make bank even after all the refining processes. Yes, being able to effectively use the Reclaimers is going to help that, but I've poured over a load of feedback threads for Salvage, the Reclaimer, the Vulture, etc., and the overwhelming majority say the juice isn't worth the squeeze, especially with RMC, especially with hull stripping, and this is easy to solve. If you don't make enough monies from these roles, raise the monies that you can earn from them. It is genuinely that simple, at least from my point of view. Have maybe some highly valuable salvage missions, more dangerous contracts in Pyro. Have the entry level to some of the salvage contracts significantly higher, but the potential you can make from them have higher as well. Have NPC pirates turn up more often at salvage sites, so you have to think about, oh, okay, pirates turned up, I better leave, or I should bring some escorts or whatever. Now, That's easy for me to say. CIG can actually see the metrics, and I can't really quantify them in the same way. I can only read people's experiences from the forums or talk to you about my own. More zones and stations that the Reclaimer can land at. That would be great, right? An easier way of unloading the Reclaimer as well. But yeah, if you can dock in collar with the station, and then you can use the refinery deck there, refine from and to the ship, fantastic. More economy updates to support the effort versus reward and salvage in general. Factoring fields are a little mundane for salvage as well, right? Like the wibbly wobbliness of, oh yeah, I'm fracturing something, oh I fractured it and now I'm absorbing it. It's a little mundane, right? It's not the most interesting mechanic, but when you mix it with a load of other stuff that you could do with salvage by boarding the ship, taking the materials off it and that sort of stuff, it does become a bit more interesting as a full gameplay loop, all of it together. Now, just from that basic standpoint of raising the amount of money that you can earn from salvage, upping the amount that you can sell RMC for, upping the amount you can sell the construction materials for, what do people think about that? Is that silly, or you're like, that's a great idea? Do you think CIG are doing a wider economy rework with this patch and we just haven't seen it yet? So CIG have said that crafting's coming, a wider rework for the economy's coming, construction materials, that is a temporary thing. We don't know when these things are going to be done though. Ships will salvage down eventually into the components they're made of, steel, titanium, etc., rather than construction materials as I understand it. If the changes to salvage are part of a wider economic rework, then that needs to be reflected in the economy now really. Otherwise, let's up those numbers. Now, you might disagree with me. You might say, well, actually, there's loads of important gameplay mechanics that don't pay enough. Up those as well. Yeah, maybe. Tell me in the comments below. This is all very strange, as I didn't think I'd be talking about salvage with this patch. The salvage updates here are a total surprise to me, and mostly a welcome one, adding a load of depth to the gameplay and rounding out the mechanics to be in line with mining and refining. It just needs some numbers tweaking in my opinion. Actually, that's something else that I want to talk about, PvP. So CIG have added a PvP tab to missions and moved appropriate missions over there, and some players wanted to know why and is this part of any other changes coming. So CIG's Kohaku gave some further clarity. The move of PvP missions to their own category was for clarity. New players can get confused as they all show in the bounty tab, leading these new players to accept a mission to take out another player without fully understanding what they are signing up for in that mission. So this allows players to be fully informed of what they are getting into. It also means those who are looking directly for PvP focused missions outside of Arena Commander have more of a direct route to find this gameplay. PvP as a separate tab is one of the easiest quality of life updates we can do. We have plans to ensure that all missions have a requirements section that high level touches on what things you would encounter in the mission. However, it's important to be aware of the nature of our game and its sandbox, which means that most missions have a chance to be PvP, as all it requires is a player to turn up at a location you are at doing a mission and a fight starts. So the organic occurrence of PvP is still there. So the PvP tab is only for missions where we would directly send you against another player. Someone basically asked as well, why call it the PvP tab? Isn't that a little bit immersion breaking? And Kahaku responded again, we named it generically like this to avoid any confusion, and if in the future we expand and add more PvP focused missions outside of player bounties, they will just slot inside this category with ease. I'm actually really pro that change. Tell me what to expect in a mission or where I'm going or how dangerous an area is. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. I do want to talk about a little tiny bit of a spoiler about the Yormandi, so turn off now if you don't want to know that. Zach Priest chats a little bit about that. There was a thread I saw on Reddit. There was a question just saying, am I wrong, or is the new creature just the previous sandworm, the Valakkar, put in water? So Zach Priest responded to this. It uses a new rig and has an entirely new animation set. It's basically entirely new, but builds on the old creature tech. Got some nice new tech we can reuse in the future too. Just as an example, here are a few. Breakable weak spots, interrupting behaviors, breakable rocks that you have to use as cover, serpent IK solvers, which is inverse kinematics, I believe, which is how it coils up and rotates naturally like it does. AI can now use beam weapons. Other creatures have knowledge, context of another creature, a bunch of other bits too. Getting this all in engine, being very customizable and flexible, then putting it into our existing systems is complex. It's Valakkar shaped, but it is not a Valakkar. So, a couple of other points here. Yes, there are supposed to be 2 of them in that cave. So, yeah, that is intentional. And it is a bug that they can sometimes fight each other and attack each other. Boom! That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Please tell me what you think about any of those subjects in the comments down below. If you have any questions for CIG devs that I may be able to ask them at the watch party in Leicester, because I'm going to the watch party, at least I'm planning to go to watch party in Leicester for CitizenCon tomorrow. There are going to be CIG devs there. If I find an appropriate dev who does not look too worn down by other people's questions, then I shall ask them the questions that you asked. You can also message me on my Discord, any questions as well. Also, get NordVPN. That's in the links down below as well. Click those links to NordVPN to get better accessibility, security, and privacy on the interwebs. I use NordVPN. You can use it too. Everyone's happy, probably, or happier. I almost sung a little NordVPN jingle, so yeah, I won't, because I don't want to spoil this perfect outro. It's October, it's CitizenCon, there is loads going on in Star Citizen, and I spy, with my Toby eye tracker, something beginning with D. It's a discount. You want a natively supported high-precision head and eye tracker for Star Citizen? Of course you do. It actually works with a load of games, actually. The Toby eye tracker is super useful as part of your arsenal, but also really adds to your immersion. If you don't mind spending a little bit of time tweaking after setup, you can have a really awesome time. Look around your cockpit, look over your shoulder, and track ships in a dogfight intuitively and ergonomically like never before. It's got a load of features to improve the experience as well, with like camera boost, which is a little tiny bit like mouse acceleration for your head and eyes, but actually useful. You can get 15% off a Toby Eye Tracker 5 until Monday the 20th of October. Links below to that. There's also a sweepstake going on from Toby. You can join to win a Toby Eye Tracker 5. Links down below to that too. Thanks to Toby for sponsoring this video. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for October, because of CitizenCon and it's a big month of celebration, we are giving away 5 different ships to 5 different winners. They all come with a game package and lifetime insurance. We're giving away a C8X Pisces, the Arrow Light Fighter, the 100i luxury starting ship, the Sulen, a very cool, weird alien starting ship, and the Nomad from Consolidated Outland. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning one of those ships is comment on any of my videos made during October. Any of those are great to start the game with, or just as another ship in your fleet, or even as a lifetime insurance token to upgrade to something else. A big thank you as well to CIG for providing some of those ships for that giveaway. If you would like to further support the channel, consider becoming a Patreon or using the join button under my videos. That will get you some occasional exclusive content, and it really does help us out loads. Also, like, share, subscribe, that all helps tons as well. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I hope you have a great October.